Hello and assalamu alaikum everybody. My name is Nadia and today we're talking about what are the alternatives of a syllabus, because I've been ranting about syllabus is not good and they just limiting the intelligence of our children. So then what's the alternative? Before we go to the alternative, first there are two things, very fundamental things, and very simple things that I want you to understand as a parent or as an educator. The number one thing is your child is way more intelligent than you are. Get it. You have to understand it. Let it sink in your heart that you think you are intelligent. You may think you are wiser than your child, more experienced. You can be more experienced, but you are not as powerfully imaginative, creative, and curious and problem solver. It kind of, it's just, let's say, I want to give you an example on that. Let's say you and your child, both of you want to learn piano. I bet you on that. You will take longer time to learn piano than your child. Because, take my example, I'm 30 plus, and in my mind, I have connections, I have documents, files, and information from 30 plus years stored in my mind. But that mind of my child is just like in an empty room, and it has so much storage for new information. So that is number one thing. And thing number two, you accept that because your child's brain is so complex and so wonderful, you and I, we don't have any idea. People, centuries and centuries, they have spent understanding the complexity of the brain, of an adult brain maybe. But the child's brain is way more complex than an adult's brain. So we don't know how to handle that wild thing. Say then what? When we don't know how to handle that wild thing, then what? Instead of breaking that wild horse, I think we should just sit back and relax and just watch how wonderfully that child of yours is exploring the world around it. You guys have heard something like, in the presence of wise people, less wise people, or maybe the foolish people, should not talk. Kids are wiser than you are. They're more close to nature. They are just amazing people. So please, stop controlling them. Stop imposing yourself on them. Sometimes I just get so angry with this idea that people try to control their kids with their dumbness. So yes, please, there are two things. Your kid is super intelligent and you are not. Number two, do not interfere. At least for first 5 to 7 years, do not interfere in your child's intelligence. Don't try to measure it with a piece of paper. Your child's brain is not a piece of paper. It's not a linear thing that would go from point 1 to point 2. How would you and I do this matching stuff? We will make sure all lines are very, very straight. But this is my daughter's matching. I'm not really sure if you guys are able to see that. That's all over the place. And that's exactly how their brains think. These telephone kitare, you guys could see that. This happened when I asked her to complete her worksheet. I was like, wow, Madi, you've done 4. Now 3 are left. Why don't you go ahead and complete your worksheet? And she was like, okay, take this, mama. Don't mess with me. So, yeah, it just is. And I'm sorry you guys are not able to see that on the camera, but not a single line here is a straight line. Even the lines which look like they're going straight, they're getting those curls in the end. Their minds are not conditioned minds. Their minds are thinking freely and happily and independently. So, have you guys noticed that letters A, B, C, maybe there is an arrow that tells you that you have to write it this way. And trust me, people get so obsessive with the idea that mothers, parents, the teachers, they get so obsessed with the idea that a child has to follow the arrow. No. I remember my sister, she used to make 8, like she used to draw a circle on first and then on the top and 1 circle on the bottom. And everybody used to say, no, this is not the right way to draw an 8. Oh, Khuda ke bande, this is an 8. You know, when you let your child make or trace these letters in different ways, you actually giving them an idea that, yo, bro, there are different ways to do one single thing. There is no one set way, one set rule. This is, in this world, if you have one problem, you can approach the solution in 1,000 different ways. You know that. And then why you were limiting his intelligence by just asking him to, or sometimes slapping him to just draw the way it should be drawn? You should avoid that. You should stop controlling your children. You should stop messing with their intelligence, with their minds. Guys, I've seen quite a lot of abuse happening in the name of education, so it really makes me emotional at times. That how we love our children so much, but sometimes we break them by loving them too much. With our ambitious ideas, with what the world, the outside world, is trying to feed our brains with, we do quite a lot of harm to our children's brains. Whether you send your child to a school, whether you decide to teach your child on your own, always make sure that you let them be, okay? The alternative to syllabus is you facilitate them. They have questions. They are curious. There is no child I've encountered yet who won't ask a question, who won't tell you stories, who want to know about the world, and who wants to know, if there are books, who wants to know what's inside. If there are pictures, what are the pictures saying? If there are some letters, some things written here, what is this? You have to work more like a facilitator. If they ask you something, that's the golden opportunity you get. And that's the window of opportunity. You just take that opportunity, leave everything aside, and answer them. That's the alternative to syllabus. And I hope you guys can understand. Thank you very much for listening to me. That's it for today. Have a wonderful day, guys. Thank you.